let's move on to – I'm coming right back to you, Pete, because we're going to the Jacksonville Jaguars, who have had a big day. What's the most important move they've made so far today?
Well, for me, it's the two offensive moves. I think you get a good guard, not a great guard, but a good guard in Sherfield. I think he's one of those guys that steps in and plays. They had problems there last year. Both guards struggled, particularly in pass protection at times. So I think getting him in there will help Trevor Lawrence. And Christian Kirk clearly helps Trevor Lawrence. I mean, this is a guy who his best football is ahead of him. And I know this is a move getting panned on Twitter, and everybody's piling on, how could they pay him? I liken this to a move way back in the day, and I'm going to make myself old here because I was covering that team. Keenan McCardell came to the Jacksonville Jaguars as a third receiver on the Cleveland Browns. He caught 56 passes the year before coming to Jacksonville as a free agent. Everybody said, what are they paying that guy that money for? Well, he was 26 years old at the time. They were paying him for what was to come. That's what they're doing with Kirk. Kirk is 25. Kirk had more catches than Amari Cooper last year. His yards per catch was better than Amari Cooper last year. And people inside that building rave about him as a player, a kid, and they think his best football is ahead of him. I'm talking about the Cardinals building. So this is a good football player. It's a good signing.
I echo Pete in the sentiment that they couldn't separate a wide receiver. Christian Kirk, when healthy, has the ability to separate. So that helps you there on the outside of wide receiver. Could protect Trevor Lawrence. You get an offensive lineman, an interior player to help at least solidify the pocket as of right now, and a couple defensive pieces, too, that are an upgrade based on what we saw from their defense last year. Clearly, there's a message here in Jacksonville. I mean, Doug Peterson came in, he's looking at this roster going, we need a ton of help. I will caution people, though, and I'll throw this to Danny, whoever usually wins the offseason ends up being squat once it comes to fall. So this looks all good now, like they're doing a bunch of work, but are they actually getting anything done? DK, I guess we'll see once the games start being played.
Yeah, I mean, it looks good on paper, right? And I totally agree with you guys. I mean, you got to shore up the offensive line, so you do that. You get him a receiver that's great with yards after the catch, which is a quarterback's best friend. You give him the ball and let him do a lot of the work. And I think you get that in Christian Kirk, but you're right. And here's the thing. I think the Jaguars still have more to spend. I mean, they were one of the teams that was in one of the better situations, so I think they're still spending out there. But I do think this is more about culture that needs to change. And it was pretty toxic when Urban Meyer took over, and it got so ugly. And the staff that was brought in there, where they come in with a pretty safe pick in Doug Peterson, who's got, has had history working with quarterback, played himself. Now you're trying to build up a roster that at least can be competitive. But to me, I'm with you. This is not so much about what's on paper, which can improve and will improve with these moves. It's more to be about the culture. They need to turn around an organization which in recent history has not had much success. They've got to turn around the culture, and it starts with building a roster that they believe in. So I think this is a step in the right direction, but I'm not buying in anything until I see kind of some extended success here into the season.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.